That's enough of that. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. Welcome to part two. Welcome back to the World Cup review. Welcome back to the channel. If I could take a moment to remind you to like, subscribe, and comment. A lot of you aren't commenting. A lot of you aren't subscribed. A lot of you aren't liking the video. But you're liking the content and let me know. So if you can represent that with a like, that would be great. But yeah, welcome back. This is part two. We covered groups A to F. Well, we'll be covering now G to L, I believe, if my alphabet is on point and my primary school teacher is still proud of me. But yeah, the difficult thing in this video will be to cover every single bit of ground. We have a lot of heavy hitters in these groups. We have a lot of teams that everyone's going to be putting as favorites, keeping an eye out for. Then a few highlights that we're going to have across the groups themselves and a few highlights we're going to have in the teams. But, without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Group G, Belgium, Egypt, Iran, New Zealand. So this is kind of like the last remnants of Belgium's golden generation, so to speak. They have a new coach, Rudi Garcia. I think that's his name. Yeah, Rudi Garcia. They got the spine of De Bruyne, the quality of Lukaku, and Courtois, who is arguably the best keeper in the world. There's debates between him and Raya, but Raya's not even the first choice keeper for Spain, but we'll get into that later. So Belgium, Egypt, Iran, New Zealand. Obviously, Egypt have a favorable look. I say Egypt. I should say we. We have a favorable outcome here, right? So Mohamed Salah is fit. Omar Mamouche is fit, firing. There's enough firepower there for us to hold off the likes of Iran and New Zealand. So with that being said, I am going to say from now I'm putting us second. I hope we manage to secure a place there. I'd rather have a finalized, guaranteed spot in the knockouts as opposed to praying and hoping in a third place finish based on ranking. That's not something I would want to be in or a position I'd want to be in. I don't see Iran and New Zealand really doing anything. So, funnily enough, the order of which I named them is the order I think they'll finish. Belgium to finish first, Egypt to finish second, Iran to finish third, and New Zealand to finish fourth. There's not really much I can touch on Iran and New Zealand. Taremi is probably the most notable Iranian player on the team. Oh, and Chris Wood for New Zealand. But again, that's not enough of, that's not a difference maker for this group. I think it's fairly straightforward. Belgium couldn't have asked for better. Moving on to Group H, Spain, Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. Funnily enough, this is Cape Verde's first World Cup. This is their first participation in the World Cup ever in the country's history. Again, Spain, Euro 2024 winners, clear favourites of this group, one of the favourites of the entire World Cup campaign, along with others which we're going to be mentioning later in the video. But from the perspective of Spain, right, you have De La Fuente having Pedri running up and down the field as an 8, covering all spaces needed for creativity. An attack built around Lamine Yamal, who at the moment it's not guaranteed that he's going to start the first game against Cape Verde. He's currently nursing an injury or making his way back from injury, but all of the ingredients are there. Rodri to dictate play, to manage the tempo of a game, and that's going to be key, especially in this climate. Within this World Cup, everyone's talking about the heat, the climate, the humidity. So there's a lot of a notion amongst football fans alike saying the ball's not going to be knocked around. The running around on the pitch isn't going to be as prominent as previous World Cups. It's too hot to be running around. So primarily it's going to be possession-based, keeping the ball, moving it around, making sure that you as a team are not covering a lot of ground and exhausting yourself throughout. That's what Spain's amazing at. And their depth is insane. I think the two major misses from a tactical standpoint, so Fermin Lopez, who's a very versatile attacker with qualities that cover a lot of the game. Decent pass on him, decent finish. He's able to play in multiple positions across the midfield, even up front. And Samu. So I mean, Samu's a highlight in terms of injury only because of what he offers as a traditional out and out nine. Something that somebody mentioned on a podcast that it's been a while since a national team has won the World Cup with an out and out nine. I think the last one was 2002 R9 for Brazil. Apart from that, if you can go back and look, if you look at who was starting out top for every winner of the World Cup, the actual striker wasn't an out and out nine. But this is what Samu offers. But yeah, Spain are just clear favourites, whether it's the group or the entire competition. Uruguay, notable figures: Valverde, Araujo, Darwin Núñez, the chaos of Darwin Núñez, the drive and the leadership skills of Valverde, the hunger for winning, the hunger mentality. Araujo has bozo moments. He is a bozo. Testament to when he came to the bridge. That's one of the most forefront prominent memories I have of him. Just not being a defender. Like he got a second yellow and got sent off. But yeah, I really do just think De La Fuente is just going to have an easy time. So Saudi Arabia, again, I don't really know too much about the national team. Obviously, they had that shock win in the 2022 Qatar World Cup against, I can't even remember. It's past my mind. I can't remember who they beat, but they beat. There was a bit of hype. There's no more hype along those lines. Cape Verde, again, it's their first World Cup. We're not really expecting much. So to conclude, I'm seeing Spain finishing first, Uruguay to finish second, Saudi Arabia to finish third, and Cape Verde. Look, Cape Verde are making history just by being there, no other reason. But again, it's a huge moment for the country's history. As reported, at least $10 million being given to each participant within the World Cup. So it's great for the economy and great for the sporting industry within the country. Group I. Some are considering this the group of death in some regard. I can see where they're coming from. It's Mbappe's France, it's Haaland's Norway, it's Mane's Senegal, Iraq is there or thereabouts. I actually want to see, is there anyone who I could name from the Iraqi team? Let's have a look. Maybe Ayman Hussein? I think I've heard of his name before, Ayman Hussein. So we'll say Ayman's Iraq. Yeah? But yeah, this is very much the group of death. It's crazy. There's going to be some upsets. There may be some upsets because if the likes of, I think first place is a formality, right? France are getting first place, no doubt about it. So the fight is between Senegal and Norway for second and third, respectively. Thing is with third, as you know, it's based on a ranking system. It's not everybody who finishes third goes through. It's based on goals scored, points attained, etc., etc. So, look, Deschamps is a seasoned vet of international football, a 2018 winner, a 2022 finalist. It's there. Everything is there on paper. Like, I mean, I'm gonna read like the 11. Like, just read the stuff. Cherki, Mbappe, Elise, Dembele, Kante, Tchouameni, Upamecano, Saliba, Koundé, Maignan. You've got arguably the best centre back in the world in Saliba, the Ballon d'Or winner Dembele, arguably the best striker in the world Mbappe, arguably the best young talent in the world Ryan Cherki, or the best young talent in the Premier League. We'll say that. You've got Mbappe, who's fresh off a 40-goal season. Deschamps has Dembele and Elise either side of Mbappe, and he scored. I don't know if you saw the, well, you should have seen this, but Elise scored an absolute banger, like 2 as well, against Ireland. It was insane. And yeah, I mean, it's just, they're the favourites for a reason. position for position, they have the best players, right? Position for position. Norway have, of course, they have Erling Haaland, they have Odegaard pulling the strings, but it's one of those ones where they have the platform to deliver, they have the ability to cause an upset, but in comparison to the likes of Senegal, who to some are the AFCON champions from this year, and from the leadership of Sadio Mane, and with Nicholas Jackson leading the line and hopefully not having any bozo moments he's had for Chelsea, although the other day he got 2 yellow cards sent off and missed like a clear-cut opportunity. But hey, it's possible that he steps up. Yeah, Mamadou Sarr from Chelsea, he's in that squad too. I just think it's a very, very straightforward. Well, to be honest with you, Senegal Norway is a bit difficult to call. I think it's more straightforward than people realize. I think it's going to be France first, Senegal second, Norway third, and Iraq last. Again, it's one of those thank you for participating things, right? Group J, the holders beginning their defense. Look, for complete disclaimer, if anyone wants to know who I'm supporting this World Cup, it's as simple as this. I hope and pray Egypt and Ghana get as far as they can. I would love for England to win it for the vibes in summer, but at the same time, I'm upset and disheartened by Cole Palmer not being in the World Cup. I think he should be there, regardless. There's a degree of quality he can. But anyway, we'll get into that later. And in terms of the actual win, I'd love. I'm a massive Messi fan. I would love for Messi to like really sign off his career with back-to-back World Cups and really like cement his place as. I don't think it's up for debate. I think it's the greatest of all time, right? But it would really leave no room for debate if he won back-to-back World Cups. It really wouldn't. Look, Argentina, Algeria, Austria, and Jordan are the teams within Group J. It's Messi's final World Cup. He's going to make history by being the first player to play in 6 World Cup competitions. Ronaldo can also equal that record, which I'm sure he's not too happy about, because from the scheduling standpoint, Argentina play before Portugal and Messi will be stepping onto the pitch before Ronaldo, so we won't be too happy about that. But yeah, Messi's final World Cup. I watched a few highlights of their game yesterday. Everyone's talking about Valentin Barco, who is expected to come over to Chelsea from Strasbourg. I'm not too moved. I can see a few baseline abilities, and we were talking 5-yard passes. There was nothing sort of wow. Messi was absolutely insane from the highlights I saw. Enzo Fernandez operating from like the deep lying playmaker role, making a difference that unfortunately he just can't do at Chelsea. And I don't think it's his fault. I think it's our fault more than anything. But everything there is there on paper, right? So Enzo Fernandez, McAllister, Messi, Julian Alvarez, Romero is back, Emi Martinez. They have everything they need. I mentioned in part 1 how cohesion, working as a team, and putting that over the priority of having individual performance and being selfish, that's what allows a national team to become champions of any respective international competition, right? It's about maintaining the ball, holding the ball, keeping possession, working as a team, and having the midfield humming and getting them ticking and keeping them going along, right? Argentina are specialists in this. I don't know what it is, maybe from a national pride standpoint, but as soon as Argentina get on the pitch, it's like you don't even recognize some of these players. Honestly, you don't even recognize. So that should tell you everything you need to know. Messi's last dance. I see Argentina finishing first in this group. Austria, like, Ralph Ragnick, he's the current manager of Austria. The three most notable names I'm looking at here: Sabitzer, Lima, and Alaba. Lima had a pretty decent season for Bayern Munich. He was operating at right back, I believe, and at some points in the midfield, inverting, but nothing too stand out. David Alaba, he's had. I don't even remember. I just don't remember seeing him in a lot of Real Madrid's game. Is he even still at Real Madrid? I'm not even sure. But I don't expect anything from these guys. Same with Algeria. The thing is with African teams, right? Especially North African teams, they are the real dark horses. They're the ones that surprise most of the casual fans more than anything. But if you're following North African teams along the AFCON route, or seeing their journey in qualifications, you see that it's the same sort of switch with Argentina, that everybody plays as a team and they play for each other and they play for the country and they turn it on when they step onto the pitch. It's very much the same case with North African teams. I will make the call now, and I will have Algeria second above Austria. I think from a point of view where Ragnick will have organization and will have the team drilled, and he'll have a game plan. I just think heart and passion of Algeria is going to just the power of friendship. The power of friendship will overcome any sort of hurdle that they're going to face. So I have them finishing second. I have Argentina first, Algeria second, Austria third, and I haven't even mentioned Jordan. And I honestly, let me actually see who's in their team. I'm actually curious who's in their team. Jordan, a beautiful country, by the way. I've been there. Jordan. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't expect much. Yeah, but thank you for coming. Thank you for participating. Okay, Group K. Portugal, DR Congo, Uzbekistan, Colombia. I think this one, again, the story lays out for itself. So Ronaldo is going to be at his 6th World Cup. As I mentioned earlier, he's going to be a joint record holder as opposed to being the first to set the record. There's two things that I say are drawbacks for Portugal. First being Roberto Martinez, and second being Ronaldo. So Portugal are one of the favourites for the World Cup. Their midfield is absolutely insane. But can you ask yourself, can Roberto Martinez win a World Cup? Do you picture Roberto Martinez winning a World Cup? I don't. I don't even mean to be rude. I just don't. And Ronaldo, if you watched the game from the other day, or was it yesterday, where he had chance after chance after chance. He had 3 clear-cut opportunities to score. And the Ronaldo 5 years ago is scoring that, without doubt. But his ability and his contribution to the team is to the team's detriment. I don't think he should be playing. He will play. As many jokes as we make with Mbappe being a dictator, Ronaldo is just as much as a dictator. So, but that being said, Portugal's finishing first. There's no debate about it. Portugal's finished first. But they're stacked. I mean, you got Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, João Neves, Vitinha, Nuno Mensch, Ruben Diaz, Diogo Costa in goal, Rafael. So, do you know what the standouts for me is? It's Ronaldo, Leao. Ronaldo and Leao. Ronaldo isn't the same Ronaldo of old. We all know this. And Leao just hasn't been firing. His excuses of the environment in AC Milan not allowing him to thrive. But at the same time, the best of players thrive no matter what's going on around them. Pedro Neto says here that Pedro Neto is squad fit, but it's not a guarantee that he starts. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, Portugal's to finish first. So I just they're one of the favourites, just from the standpoint of Vitinha, João Neves, and Bruno Fernandes, and even Bernardo Silva. Those four, dictating play in the midfield, it could make a massive difference, and that's where games are won. Um, I don't know. Colombia, I think the safe bet is to just put Colombia second. Like, most notably, it's Luis Diaz, and I don't even know if James Rodriguez is still playing. I think he is. Let me have a look. Yeah, I think James Rodriguez is still playing, and they have Mina as well. He's a decent little centre back. Again, I don't expect much, but it's kind of like the best of the worst, without being offensive to the countries. I have Portugal finishing first, Colombia finishing second. Ooh, DR Congo. Yeah, definitely Congo over Uzbekistan. Congo will finish third because they've got the likes of Wissa and Wan-Bissaka, but Congo to finish third, and will they have enough points accrued, and will they have enough goals scored? I don't know. I actually don't know. It's up to them. That's going to be the difference in them making the knockouts or not, and what a story it would be if they made the knockouts. The only notable Uzbek player I can think of is Kusanov, and yeah, I don't know. He ain't got the powers to be doing all that. He ain't doing all that. Last and not least is Group L. Our beloved England, my beloved Ghana, Panama, and Croatia. Let's get into it. So, let's address the elephant in the room. Thomas Tuchel squad selection. Pundits, fans, podcasters, we've all hypothesized and theorized what is the reason for the squad selection. I think it's a common consensus that he's trying to accommodate to Harry Kane's game. And it's understandable. Harry Kane has scored over 50 goals in the season in all competitions. He's firing as usual. And it just makes sense that if we want our best chance at winning the World Cup, it should be through Harry Kane. Touchline wingers. Fullbacks that don't overlap, they more invert into the midfield, pack out the midfield, allow more passing options for Kane, allow Bellingham to get in behind and operate in the 9 areas while Harry Kane's playing the 10. The primary reason, I think, why Cole Palmer never got to go, but again, it's questionable, and I see the benefit and the utility in having versatile players. I understand where Tuchel's coming from, and I see that he's trying to prepare for all kinds of scenarios, prepare for any scenario that will arise. And again, I have a lot of faith in the guy. He won us a Champions League in 2021. He is a tournament manager, but it's one of those ones where if he pulls it off, it will be, well, scenes remarkable. Without doubt, England would probably recreate the scenes that's going on right now in New York because of the Knicks. But if it backfires, all the questions will be raised. Everyone will be, criticizing him and doubting his ability to go forward into the Euros and into future competitions. And they'll say, why didn't you take Cole Palmer? Why didn't you take Colwill? Why didn't you take Bowen? Why did you take Ivan Toney? Why did you take Kwanzaa? Why didn't you take Lewis Hall? Why didn't you take Gibbs White? There's so many questions that will be raised. And you know what's funny is I'm going to put a graphic right here now of an 11 that you could have made from England, from the players that never got called up to England. Like, look at this 11. It's insane. But yeah, I again, they couldn't have asked for a better draw, and they'll make it through the groups. It's a question of who they draw in the knockouts. Will they make it far into the competition? I guess it's in Tuchel we trust, to be honest with you. I guess so. Ghana, it's never good. Yeah, Ghana. They've got Croatia and England. You're kind of up against it. God help us if we had anyone else but Panama. Like, if we had a more of a difficult opposition who is just as good as we are, I wouldn't favour our chances. We don't have Kudus. There's no Kudus. No Kudus, no party. But I mean, there's Semenyo. He's had a good season. I don't say great because I watch him play, and he can't beat his man. Why? But he can't. He doesn't take on his fullback, and his bag is just scoring goals, and I guess that's what Ghana needs. Let's have a look here, just to like what the 11 might be. I mean, Inaki Williams has some pace. Semenyo. There's a player here, I don't even want to mention his name, but you know which player I'm talking about from the Ghanaian squad. Yeah. In all honesty, I see us finishing third. I honestly see us finishing third. Luka Modric, going straight onto Croatia, by the way, Luka Modric has apparently a record equaling 6th World Cup. He's going to be in his 6th World Cup. Did not know that. But he's got a facial fracture as well. And oh no, he had a facial fracture and he's recovered in time for the World Cup. Gvardiol had a shin surgery. He's recovered for the World Cup. Okay. I mean, again, if you read out Croatia's players, right? Sutalo, Gvardiol, Perisic, Modric, Kovacic. Those are some real household names. Those are some names that we recognize, and they all have a level of quality that should help Croatia finish second. I think this one's straightforward, honestly. I think it's the case of England first, Croatia second, Ghana third, Panama last. I don't know if, again, it was the same story as, who was it, Congo. It's just about if Ghana rack up enough points. You know, it would be super ideal if we got a win against Panama, a draw against Croatia, and that puts us at 4 points. Sorry, puts us at 4 points. It's more than enough. And that's it, right? Everything covered from Group A to L. Too many teams. My head is fried, but I hope the visuals helped in any way, shape, or form. I hope my takes have made it a little bit clearer on who you should expect to finish where in the groups. And yeah, I mentioned at the beginning of part 1 who I think, who I'm going to label as my dark horse. I'm going to put Senegal as my dark horse. These guys they're cooking. Since 2022, they've been cooking. I also think they'd be somewhat more acclimatized or more ready to face the weather that's bound to take over the tournament, and is one of the major discussions, or one of the main talking points for everyone, is how they're going to manage with the climate. So I mentioned you have Spain, possession base, keep the ball, less running around. Or you can have teams like Mexico, Senegal, who else is there that might be used to them? Even basically any African, South American team who would be better equipped for the heat. So I'm going to go with Senegal for the dark horse. My favourite, I can't see past France. I really can't. It's too much firepower. I said it many times. What wins the World Cup, beyond the midfield ticking, beyond the manager who instills faith into a team, and, beyond teamwork, right? What also wins the World Cup is just fucking firepower. Just pure quality. And I don't even mean that. So France is my favorite from the argument of individually they all have quality. Every single player within that France team except Rabiot, sorry, I don't know how he makes it there, they all have individual quality. But then that individual quality is such to a level where it doesn't matter how much power friendship there is, they're just not going to beat France. You have a Ballon d'Or winner. You have a striker who stays firing. You have a young talent who, if allowed to be free and allowed to roam free, will flourish in that squad. You have a winger who people are calling to win the Ballon d'Or. I've just named 4-5 players that alone could make the difference. They alone make the difference in their teams. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, Mbappe will be on course to win a second World Cup. Deschamps to win a second World Cup. Kante to win a second World Cup. I'd love to see it. But again, my head says France, my heart says Argentina. Again, for the not because of Argentina, but because I'd love to see Messi go back to back. That would be insane for the books, insane for football history. But stick around, right? Follow me, follow this journey that I'm going to go on with the World Cup. Like I said, there'll be a video talking about the knockout stages. There might be something waiting in the wings. I can't say what it is, but I've got something planned. The hint is I will be outside. I won't be in this office space. I'll be outside getting the opinions of a couple people. But where will I be outside? That's the question. We'll figure it out. So if you enjoyed this video, enjoyed the visuals, if you enjoyed following my thoughts, again, I appreciate if you subscribe and I will catch you around. The World Cup is here. World Cup fever will kick in the next couple of hours. And boy, oh boy, it's going to be a long month of football.